Alright, check out this really cool little table or stool or whatever you want to call it that I picked up off of Craigslist for 20 bucks. This thing is really awesome, especially for $20. Alright, so it turns out it's actually an old butcher block that used to have short little stubby legs. It had 3 legs about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches long. And here, I'll show you the little stamp on the back so you can see what it is. It's an old Tuk-Away, alright, made in Texas. And I looked them up, and like I said, you can kind of see where they chopped off the legs. It had 3 little legs, and basically, when you're done using it, you could put it in a cabinet and just tuck it away. But at some point in its life, I don't know if one of the legs broke off or what, but someone chopped them off, and they put it on these really cool old hairpin legs and turned it into kind of a, it's a little bit short for a stool, so it's kind of like a plant table or something like that. So it just needs a little work. So obviously the top, I really like it has all the knife marks in there and everything, but there's some grease and stuff I want to clean up. So I want to scrub it a little bit, and then I'll probably lightly sand it. I don't want to get rid of that texture, but I think just a little bit of sanding will get rid of some of the staining, and then you can just see how dry it is. So I'm going to oil it up. I'm not worried about making it food safe anymore because I'm just going to use it as a table or sell it as a table, whichever. I might keep it though. And then the legs themselves, I like how they look, but they're just old and rusty, especially down here at the bottom. I guess it sat in water at some point. So I'm just going to sand and brush them up and repaint them black. And then, like I said, the top, just get a light sand, and then I'll just re-oil it and get some moisture back in it, and it should look really cool. So this is going to be a quick flip, so let me get started. Alright, check it out. Here it is all finished. This thing turned out really cool. It was a quick and mild makeover, but some of the projects I find, they don't need a lot of work, and just a little bit I put into this thing really brought it to life. So of course the legs, I sanded and brushed most of the rust off of there. It would have been better if I had a sandblaster, but anyway, they look pretty good, and I primed and painted them semi-gloss black. And then up here on the top, I had those 3 routed rings around it, and I noticed when I was sanding that it had some white paint in them. So I thought, oh, I'll just paint them white, and it'd be kind of a cool detail. And then as I was going a little further, I thought, you know what, red, white, and blue would be really cool. That'd give it the antique Americana look to it, and I think that's what really made this piece pop. And of course, it still has the splits in it because this is a really old piece of wood, and it was so dry. So when I added that Danish oil, it really brought it back to life. It gave it a really cool color, and it's nice and smooth now. I sanded the whole thing with 220 grit, and I did that because, well, A, it'll make it smooth, and also I didn't want to lose all these knife marks. So I had to compromise, and some of the stains are still here. If I'd have went with a rougher grit and sanded more, I could have probably got rid of those, but I would have lost all the character of the knife mark. So I decided to leave it, and just adds a little story to it. So anyway, this was a pretty quick flip. If you ever find anything like this, I would recommend grabbing it and redoing it because it could look really cool. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate that. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. That really helps get it out in front of other people that might like to check it out too. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. Keep up with more videos. And if you want to see some other projects I have some here on the screen and down in the description below as well.